Hi, my name's Matt Miller, and I am the author of this book called Ditch That Textbook. It's a book written for teachers to help them to be able to use technology and teach sort of differently in their classes. And I wanted to talk to all of you today because I am a blogger. Before I was a teacher, I was a blogger and still am a blogger, and write on a blog called Ditch That Textbook, the same as this book that I just showed you. And so I started blogging about 2.5 years ago, and when I did that, I started to have to kind of deal with some of the same things that you guys are going to be talking about in this class. Like, for instance, I had to figure out what kind of information I wanted to put out there about myself, and I had to decide, do I want to take all of my ideas and put them in a public place where people can see them? And so there were some decisions that I had to make along with that. And I knew as a teacher that I was always trying to do the best that I could for my students in my class and trying to make things as interesting as I could. And so I thought, I've got all these ideas. Why don't I take them and put them on a blog where other teachers can see them? And so that'll be kind of like what you guys are doing, where you've got your own ideas and you're trying to figure out, do I want to put them out there someplace where people will be able to see them? And so my hope is that you will. I thought that it was a really good idea for a couple of reasons. One was all of these things that were kind of floating around in my head, they were all just like trapped in my head, and there wasn't an easy place for other people to be able to see them. And I thought, well, I'm a teacher, and when I started teaching, there were a lot of good websites and blogs and different things out there that I read that helped me out as a teacher. And I thought, well, it's my turn to give back. And all these ideas that I have, they're kind of like trapped in my filing cabinet. I take lots of notes down on paper and would stick them into this filing cabinet, and then nobody would be able to see them but me. But if I put them onto this blog, and I started putting them out there for other people to see, I started to realize that I could help other people. So that was one of the big reasons that I wanted to do this. Another thing that I had to deal with was my public identity, because I know people in my town, probably like you, people in my town, some of them knew me, a lot of them didn't, and the things that they knew just came from actually talking to me face to face, and sometimes being in my classes or having kids in my classes. But when I started putting things out there on the web, and when I started using social media, my guess is that some of you probably use social media too, and I started to realize that I had this new, almost like this public identity too, where people would know who I am based on my Twitter account, because I've got a Twitter account, and they would know me based on what's on my blog, and they would know me just based on what I put out there online. And so I started to see that posts that I would put out on social media, almost anybody could go find them. And so if people knew about me, or now read my book and wanted to know a little bit more about me, they could go to Twitter and find out an awful lot about me. And when I started doing Twitter, every once in a while I'd get frustrated about something, and I'd want to tweet about it. I'd want to say, this person treated me wrong, or I had this awful day in class, or something like that. And so I would put that out there every once in a while, and then I started to think about it. I'm going, those tweets aren't going anywhere. And anybody who finds my Twitter account, they're going to be able to see that. And it's the same way with pictures, obviously, too. So I had to make this decision that I didn't want that kind of stuff to be tied to my identity. Because, as you probably know, when you start to go apply to colleges, and when you start to try to get a job, or anything like that, people are going to start trying to find you online. They're going to Google your name. They're going to go look for you on social media. And I started to realize that I was leaving behind a footprint that other people could see. And I wanted to make sure that it was positive. I wanted people to see me for who I really am, or who I really think that I am, and not for, I want them to see the best of me instead of the worst of me. And so that's why I made this conscious decision to start making my footprint, or the online presence I have, I wanted to make that as positive as I could. So anyway, Would love to be able to connect with you guys and your class about this a little bit more. And if you want to find me on Twitter, if you want to see what I do, my Twitter account is at @JMattMiller. That's the letter J, and then Matt with 2 T's, M-A-T-T, and then Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R. So come check me out. There's lots of stuff about education on my Twitter account. I'm not very interesting probably to all of you, but you can feel free to check that out, or you can go to my website too, which is ditchthattextbook.com. So if you want to kind of check me out and see what I'm all about, that's what it is. So anyway, hope you guys have a great school year, and I hope I get to stay in touch with you.